The 2024 FIM Junior GP World Championships title decider comes from the Circuito Estoril, the final round of a record-breaking season. 3 championships still to be decided, including that of Junior GP itself, where Alvaro Carpe can and should get it done in race 1 this morning. 3 wins and 6 podiums in the last 6 races, a commanding 43-point lead puts the 17-year-old from Murcia in the driving seat over Jesus Rios, Max Quiles and Adrian Cruces. About the track, Estoril has already hosted Junior GP in May this year. It's back again now. Welcome to the final round of Junior GP here from Estoril in Portugal, but we race for Valencia, of course, the Ricardo Tormo circuit, the planned host of the final round before the devastating floods. Kiko Giles and Lewis Sotheby bringing you the grand finale of a brilliant season. It's Wednesday. Yes, you heard it correctly. Don't adjust your TV sets. It's not a repeat. Lewis, a novelty for us. I'm sure we'll mess up from time to time throughout the next 5 hours or so.
Yeah, what day is it? Wednesday we're going racing here at Estoril for the final round of the Junior GP World Championship. So take it as read, viewers. If we say Friday, we mean Monday. If we say Saturday, we mean Tuesday. Here's what happened at the previous round in Aragon as Alvaro Carpe sets himself up for his first match point today.
That was Aragon, but we are here at Estoril here in Portugal. As you can see, the weather is ideal, 15 degrees centigrade air and track temperature. And it really is a splendid late November afternoon, or morning as it is right now, but afternoon very, very soon. About 18 degrees we're expecting right the way through today. Unlike most of the year here at Estoril, not a lot of wind, which is all right if you're landing in that kite that's just come on your screen. But Junior GP, Lewis, we've had a brilliant season this year. We're back at Junior GP. We're normally over in myself, World Superbike, you in MotoGP, of course. So nice to come back here and a little bit of a nice trip away to finish our seasons.
Yeah, and good to get this season finished on track. Of course, the tragic events that you've already referenced in Valencia, which remain in all of our thoughts, lead us to this rather unusual season finale in the middle of the week. But our focus is now on the racing taking place on track, and we have champions to crown over the course of the day. Later on, we will crown the Superstock European Champion and the Moto2 European Champion. We will crown our Junior GP World Champion, and it could be in this very first race of the day.
This was qualifying. Alvaro Carpe, first pole.
Pretty strange at the first laps, because I was trying my best, and a few riders I was struggling a little bit with them. Then when I take my pace and my lap time was improving, I did my fastest personal lap, this 42.9. This is a really fast lap, and in the last lap of my qualifying, I was coming very fast, and in the last corner in the exit, I get a high side, really huge. Hopefully, I'm good, but we are waiting for tomorrow to try my best in both races, because we are fighting a championship. I have a gap of 43 points, and I will try my best.
Alvaro Carpe starting on pole position, but it was a crash that happened after that pole lap, the 17-year-old Murcian. Big day for him today, Lewis. He can be junior world champion. And you've got to look at his season 3 wins. He came into the class last year, was straight away on the pace, so deserving, but he's still got to get it over the line.
Yeah, what he needs in this first race of the day is an 8th place, which sounds easy, but in terms of trying to stay out of trouble in a Junior GP race, you can do everything you can to stay out of trouble. Trouble can, though, come and find you in a class such as this. But what a time to take your first Junior GP pole. Alongside him, he's got Brian Uriarte. Now, of course, it was Carpe and Uriarte who went head-to-head for the Red Bull Rookies title earlier in the year. 2 points separated them in the final round in Misano. Uriarte, as opposed to Carpe, has no pressure on his shoulders here today.
Yeah, Uriarte, 2 ETC wins in 2022, Barcelona and Portimao, so he definitely knows his way around the Junior GP calendar. He was a double winner here last year at the start of 2023, and of course the first Junior GP win at Jerez from second on the grid as well. He's only raced in 3, he's always been in the top 5. So Brian Uriarte, the 16-year-old from Santander there in northern Spain, keep an eye on him. This is Max Quiles, Team Australia Galicia team rider, 3 podiums this year. He's been champion in ETC. I think big things were expected of him, Lewis, but he hasn't got that win just yet.
No, and he'll be looking to try and sign off with a win here today, because he will not be in this class next season. Of course, if you haven't been following the off-track news since we last spoke to you in Junior GP, Max Quiles will be on the Moto3 World Championship grid next season, joining the championship-winning Aspar team alongside Dennis Foggia next season. So this is Quiles' last opportunity to sign off with a win in the Junior GP class, although he does start from his first ever front row grid slot.
Guido Pini is next up. He's in 4th place. He won the ETC Cup 2 years ago, 13th in Red Bull Rookies this year, but he's had good results there. He's always been in the top 4 in Junior GP since he came up to the class this year. So strong, even though he can't win the title.
Yeah, he'll be thinking what might have been had he not had that right arm injury that took away the start of the season. As you saw there, bottom of your screens moments ago, no points in the first few rounds of the season because of that injured right arm, which caused him to miss that early phase of the season. But he has been an ever-present towards the front of the field since he joined this class. And although he can't mathematically win the championship, he could still finish as our runner-up.
What about this rider here? This is Jesus Rios. He has got a back of the grid start. Disaster for him yesterday. Slow riding, Lewis, in yellow flags. We've seen it in MotoGP Superbikes. It's a big penalty, and it is a huge penalty for Jesus Rios, who is second in the championship, still can be mathematical champion at the end of today.
Had qualified originally in 7th place, but the penalty you mentioned has relegated him all the way back to the 11th row of the grid. It's perhaps not the kind of penalty in Junior GP that it would be in, for instance, Moto 2 or Super Stock. Overtaking is easier, and if you can get away with the freight train at the front, then there's no reason why Rios can't fight for the podium if he gets away well at the start. But podiums have been in short supply after that incredible blockbuster start to his rookie Junior GP season. It has gone rather quiet since.
Yeah, and really, 3 race wins in 4. Everyone touted him as a championship favourite. It's not gone that way, though. He's really struggled. More on that later, because this rider right here, Jacob Rosenthaler, matching his career best, qualifying in the class of 5th place. Don't forget, he had a 3rd place here in 2023, the first Austrian rider on the podium in Junior GP.
Yeah, equaling his best ever qualifying in Junior GP, although of the 10 races we've had so far this season, he's failed to score in 4 of them. He has been involved in a lot of incidents, not altogether all his fault. Completing the 2nd row of the grid, then we find Adrian Cruces. He is one of the many riders who are fighting it out for the runner-up spot in the championship. Mathematically, you can go all the way down to Rico Salmela in 11th place, who could still finish runner-up in the series. More realistically, you're looking at the riders from 2nd to 8th. Rios in 2nd, down to Cormac Buchanan in 8th, all covered by 16 points. Cruces comes into this penultimate race of the season, 4th overall.
Worth noting as well that Cruces won last year at Valencia, but he hasn't won in 2024. So keep an eye on Cruces. Was a point scorer in every single race up until last time out when he was 17th at Aragon. This is Casey O'Gorman. He's been on the podium in the last 2 races, of course, Portimao and Aragon. And really, he has been something of a revelation in Junior GP over the last few years, but he's still yet to take that first win.
Yeah, he was on course for a podium here earlier in the season before it high-sided on the penultimate lap. So it has been a season in some respects of what might have been for KC. Was watching qualifying Q2 yesterday from the pit wall here in Estoril, and the two Estrella Galicia teammates, Casey O'Gorman and Max Keyless, were out on track together, working together, and it seemed to pay dividends for both of them.
Yeah, of course, O'Gorman inheriting Jesus Rios' 7th place slots, at least for this race. Rios will take that back later on in race 2. This is the number 14 New Zealander of Cormac Buchanan from Invercargill, the 18-year-old. Started this season so strongly, 2 podiums in the first 3 races, including here at Estoril. He's failed to break into the top 5 since Portimao.
And another rider, of course, who's got a Grand Prix future to look forward to. Cormac will become the first full-time Kiwi on a Grand Prix grid next season since Simon Crafar back at the turn of the century. He'll be joining the Boe KTM squad next year.
Good stuff indeed from Cormac Buchanan on the AGR team. Of course, that team very present right the way through the racing ranks in the last few years. This is another Uriarte, the brother of Brian. It's Marcos for podiums this year. But no top 9 this. I can't believe what I saw when we've been doing the preparation for this since Catalunya race 2. It's certainly been a season of 2 halves.
Yeah, that progression, or regression, I guess you could say, in his results that you saw on the bottom of the screen, not going in the right direction for Uriarte, who did race in the final Grand Prix this season in Barcelona around about 10 days ago.
And that is your top 9 on the grid. This is looking at the 10th place rider. That's Dodo Boggio, the number 47, a rookie for this year, stepping up from ETC. Boggio yet to take that first podium, and he hasn't had points since Catalunya. He's another one, Lewis, and we've seen this in other riders as well, like Marcus Uriarte, like Jesus Rios to some degree. Season of 2 halves.
Unforgiving class to move into, no matter what kind of reputation you've got. But he does end his rookie season with his best qualifying so far. First time he started up inside the top 10, although, as you mentioned, he, like many, have been promoted due to the penalties for the likes of Jesus Rios. But if Boggio can finish somewhere near where he starts, he'll be confident ahead of this one.
We are about to get underway then for Junior GP. 16 laps here at Estoril, your grid in the penultimate race of the season.
Carpe, who's chasing the title from Uriarte, that's Brian Uriarte and Max Keyless. Pini, Rosenthaler and Cruces on the second row from Casey O'Gorman, Cormac Buchanan and Marcos Uriarte, who completes row 3. Dodo Boggio promoted to a career best 10th after the penalty for Jesus Rios. He's got Alessandro Morosi, the number 19 alongside him, and Facundo Yambias. Eamon Adaki, who starts on the 5th row. That's the best qualifying of his rookie season for the junior talent team. So ending on a high for the number 56. Completing your top 18 is Evan Belford, the British rider, lines up in 18th place, promoted, of course, by those penalties. Arbi Aditama, the 93 for the junior talent team, in 19th place, ahead of Lennox Famara and Daniel Shauril. And taking our way down to the back of the grid, Milan Pavelek, a rider out of position. He starts from 22nd place, the number 4. That's his lowest qualifying of the season. He should go forward from there. And completing the grid, as you saw, Jesus Rios after his penalty, right at the back.
The grid is stacked, there is no doubt, but the pressure is all on Alvaro Carpe. 43 points ahead, and with everything to lose if it all goes wrong, one opportunity for his rivals who can afford to throw caution to the wind. It's the biggest moment in this bright young talent's career so far, and surely Lewis, he's going to be able to get it over.
Well, he doesn't need to win it in this first race, but I'm sure he'll want to. You don't want to put it down to a last race all or nothing showdown, and of course, if you have some misfortune in that final race of the day, that can take everything out of your hands altogether. So it's in his control, starts from pole position, and we're looking to try and wrap this championship up in the first race of the day. And the safest place often in these Junior GP races is at the front. So I don't think he'll want to get embroiled in the pack. He won't be coming into this race trying to finish 8th.
And of course, this Estoril circuit, Lewis, that's one they all know well, but where are the hot spots on this track?
Plenty in Junior GP. Any corner really is an overtaking spot. Turn 1 for sure will be a key overtaking hotspot with the long pitch straight. It's a fairly short run from the grid to turn 1, but out of that parabolic, it is an awful long run down to the first corner. Slipstream will be crucial through there. Also expect overtaking into turn 6, and when we get to the closing stages, the final lap, the hairpin down into turn 9 could be an opportunity to launch a bit of a block pass and get yourself into the lead with the final sector approaching.
This is up towards the chicane. That'll be one of your last hurrahs, that is for certain. Do you want to be leading out of the last corner, though? That's the question.
Well, we have seen so many close finishes over the years. Of course, one that you know very, very well in the World Superbike class earlier this season with Toprak Razgatioglu taking a victory by 0.02 of a second, or being involved in that close battle over the line when he was just picked. So I guess you don't want to lead over the line if you're in a big pack, but so difficult to really plan ahead in a race such as this one in Junior GP. I think you just got to think corner by corner, just try and get yourself into the best position possible, stay out of any trouble, and if you lead out of the final corner, then hey, you're just going to have to hope for the best and hope that no one slipstreams you on the way to that final checkered flag.
And hope is about all you can hope for in this class. It is worth saying here, Estoril, it has the closest World Superbike finish of all time, 0.003 of a second. That went to Nicolo Bulgari over Toprak. 0.002 of a second, that's the closest MotoGP finish here as well against Tony Elias with Valentino Rossi. 0.002 of a second here for Junior GP as well. That was last year. It can't get much closer, but you can guarantee they'll give it a good go. The penultimate race of 2024, they didn't hold him too long at all. And Alvaro Carpe blasts off from that career first pole, and he's going to try and grab the hold shot as they dip under the bridge and emerge into the sunlight here at Estoril. It's Carpe who gets there first and leads them safely through the first couple of corners. Urate there in second. It's the front row as it was on the grid. So it's Carpe, Urate and Quiles. The 36 has come through there as well. I think that is in fourth place. But so far, all neatly and tidy through. It's a 96, I beg your pardon, of course, Guido Pini.
Yeah, all sort of even across the front row. Second row riders got away quite poorly and were in no position to attack into the first corner. Update on Jesus Rios coming from the back of the field. He's already up into 24th place.
Good start from Rios, but he needs to make a lot more positions. You can guarantee he'll be throwing caution to the wind. They're coming into this Parabolica interior. Neck and neck, that's for third place. Pini moving through, I think that was on Quiles. Keep an eye out for your 89 as well. That is the other Uriarte. That's Marcos. He's getting in and amongst it with Adrian Cruces. Good start from him up into fifth.
Yeah, Quiles in fourth place. He's gone back one from the line, although he's already looking to attack into the tight hairpin there, up the inside on the 28. So 28 passes 96. So Pini now back where he started in fourth.
And it was Marcus Uriarte as well who followed suit and was trying to come through. Pini's suffing it out with Quiles. He's going to have to go careful though. We've still got 15 laps at the end of this one. So, as you can tell, Junior GP, it might be racing on a Wednesday, but it's all out like it was any other Sunday in the year. Down out of the final corner and to the line, Uriarte of the Brian variety takes the lead as they fan out down the straight. It's a long 986 metre straight and down in towards the first turn. It's Uriarte who gets it. His teammate of Pini's trying to follow through, but Carpe, not too bad, didn't lead over the line, but holds third.
One or two liberties been taken with track limits there on the outside of turn number one. Start as you mean to go on as Quiles now has a look for the lead up the inside into turn number two, but up into second place. It's going to be something to keep an eye on. Does the rider lead over the line out of the last corner? And does the rider that leads over the line lead into turn one? In that occasion, the answer was no.
Carpe back up into second. That's ahead of Quiles. Worth noting as well, Lewis, you touched on it just then, track limits, it only counts for the green stuff, so don't worry too much if they run out onto anything that's blue. Of course, green stuff, it won't count if it's grass, and there's a lot of it around here.
Yeah, there's a lot of it, and there's one or two gravel traps waiting to catch some unsuspecting Junior GP riders in this race if they get into trouble. There's Quiles getting a little bit wide there on the outside of the left-hander of 6 as we now drop downhill into 7, and it cost Quiles a place as he was then out slipstream. The slingshot down into turn 7 allows Pini to regain third.
And slingshot up into the chicane. Oh, how many Cruces was having a big look, and the thing coming through. Pini gets up into second, so does Carpe at the chicane. So good stuff there from the 96 of Guido Pini, a 2022 European Talent Cup champion. It's all gloves off behind. That's one of the CF Moto Aspar bikes. That'll be the 89. That's Marcus Uriarte. And keep it on, Cruces. He's still right there in the championship battle. He hasn't won a race this year. He'll be looking to try and end 2024 on a high. Let's see the slipstream effect as they come down this long front straight, but no one able to make the pass. So maybe not a big factor so early on while the fuel load's a bit heavy. Carpe on the brakes. Is he going to get that stopped? Dear me, he was backing it in. He think he had a hinge on the rear wheel of that. He didn't get it stopped, and he indeed doesn't even make any position. So it's still Uriarte who's leading.
There are already some signs there coming out of the last corner of the top piece starting to break away, but the slipstream effect has allowed Uriarte, Marcos that is, to close back in 4th place. He's now up into 3rd at the expense of your champion-elect Carpe, who's already having a look over his shoulder. Is the championship already in his mind?
Rios, fastest lap of the race. So from the back of the grid, he was 32nd. He's now up into 11th. So keep an eye on the number 54 MRE Talent. There he is. He's right behind the Uruguayan rider. That's Facundo Yambias. So the number 94 having a sterling ride to try and cap off what has been a difficult year. Rios up into 10th place, 9th for Yambias as they come through that turn 6. Now up over the top of the hill. It goes light on the bike, as you can see, the 47 there just having a moment. That's Boggio down into 7. Oh, Lunge City, I think that is.
Yeah, one of the lungers there was Rios on the 54 was trying to come through as we see it. And who would move now from Marcos Uriarte up into 2nd place. Pick a line, any line in Junior GP as they all back up and crawl all over each other. Rios continuing to make progress. He is now firmly inside the top 10.
Very good stuff from Rios. Well, we said that Carpe doesn't have to throw cautions to the wind. Everyone else does. And I think Rios, to be honest, after that qualifying penalty for dawdling, let's say, he is going to be really out to push the boat out. He's got nothing to lose. He didn't have anything to lose regardless anyway. There he is, Rottordo out. He's just alongside Cormac McCannon, and the 78 is Jacob Rosenthaler. So Rosenthaler's dropped right back from that 2nd row start down into towards turn 1. It's more or less as you were. That's Casey O'Gorman being picked up as a hard-charging Jesus Rios comes through. That's for 7th place by my calculations.
Yeah, Gorman came across the line in 7th to start the lap. Rios now does come through the first sector in 7th place. Less than a second now covers your top 8 riders at this stage of the race. The field is essentially entirely together at this stage of the race. As we see a crash now coming through turn 3, and that's a crash for Quiles, I think, is it, on the 28. Max Quiles, who was one of the riders who could potentially deny Alvaro Carpe in the chase of the title. He can't any longer.
Oh, disaster for Quiles. He really could have done without that. Back at the front, it's a group of 5 at the moment, but at the moment, it is, I think, Cruces who's making the move there. As we come through, that was Quiles walking away. Good to see he's walking away. He'll get another chance to do it all later, of course.
Yeah, of course, that gap in the group was the gap left by Quiles after crashing out at turn number 3. So it continues to be Brian Uriarte who leads us then uphill, climbing into turn number 9. Of course, a few riders there favouring the inside line. One of those was Marcos Uriarte, but of course that puts you on the outside line for the right-hander that follows. Guido Pini is able to maintain 2nd place.
This is what's happened. This is up at turn 4.
Just looking for your 6th bike in the picture. Rios was on the inside there, wasn't he? So those are the riders 2nd and 3rd in the championship, the 2 who were looking to try and deny Carpe, and they ended up running into each other.
Well, I wonder if the stewards will have a little bit of a look at that. Anyway, out front it's the 272 Motorsport machines, the 51 and the 96 Uriarte ahead of Guido Pini. I don't know why I bother saying that, because straight away it's all change of the Marcos variety, and through has come Adrian Cruces. So, as I said, that means absolutely nothing right now. Worth noting, of course, your live championship standings after all of that mean that that fall for Quiles puts him right out of contention, but it does give Alvaro Carpe the title as it stands. But you can guarantee it, it's all going to change at some point coming through the next 12 or so laps. Carpe doing what he needs to do, is keeping safe and sound and not pushing too hard.
This time it was Marcos Uriarte having a look over his shoulder there, coming out of turn 2. Not that I'm going to give these riders any kind of advice, but just look ahead of you. Don't bother looking behind you, because there's so much going on both in front and ahead. As Uriarte now has a look for the lead as they drop into turn number 6. It's Cruces now at the front. He was 4th across the line at the start of this lap, and that just shows you the power of the slipstream. 4th over the line, but he led into turn 1.
It's fantastic stuff from Marcos Uriarte. Got saying Cormac Buchanan there just coming through. So the number 14 from New Zealand, he is absolutely flying up into the top 5. I make that now. So very good stuff indeed. Through the chicane, Cruces still chasing that first win of the year. He hasn't won since last year. I've said that a couple of times already. But that number 11 on the FIM Network Team KTM looking very good round here at Estoril so far. The conditions absolutely perfect. probably just what all of them want at the end of the year. Now, that's Carpe. He's up behind Buchanan. That's for the top 5. So Carpe, he doesn't want to be falling back too far, because otherwise you start riding around with riders who will take no prisoners. And the next one up is the 54 of Jesus Rios, who can afford to do just that. Another lap ticks off then, down towards turn 1. Buchanan falls out on Pini, and Cruces has gone backwards. Carpe on the brakes, moves through from 6th up into 3rd place. Gets it all job done, more or less. Yes, he does. Holds on the number 83 back into the podium places.
I think this is the best way for Carpe to approach this, to just attack, just go for gold. Even if it goes wrong in this first race, he will still have another opportunity to take the title in race 2. So there's no point trying to be protective, no point trying to be cautious in a situation just like this, because it's the aggression, it's the attacking style that's put him in this position in the first place to win the championship in this first race of the day. So the 83 now runs 3rd. The crash of Quiles hasn't necessarily changed what Carpe needs to do. He still needs 8th place, because there were 2 riders on 104 points who were chasing him in the championship. Quiles was one. Rios, who insisted Quiles in dropping out of the race, is another. That incident, according to our timing screens, by the way, is under investigation. So the incident which we saw between Quiles and Rios, which took Quiles out of the race, is now being investigated. So Rios, who started this race with a penalty, might be soon getting another one.
That's just what he didn't need. But as we said before, Lewis, he's got to push through. And sometimes, pushing through. That's the 67 of... Yeah. Oh, that was a moment for Cruces as well. The 67 of O'Gorman it was, pushing his way through there. So good stuff there from O'Gorman, getting his elbows out. But out front, yes, as you say, Jesus Rios, well, he might be getting another slap across the face with a rule book very, very soon.
Yeah, they'll be having a good look at all the different camera angles. They'll have more angles available to them than the one that we saw, but it certainly did look as if Rios was on the inside and certainly played his part in Quiles dropping out. And that could cost Quiles potentially a place in the top 3 in the championship, although we know he is already secure on the Moto3 World Championship grid for next season. Dropping out of the shade and into the sunlight, and Carpe, as I mentioned a lap or 2 ago, is not interested in protecting, he's not interested in caution, he's interested in winning this championship from the front.
Oh, that is the 27 of Sal Mellor, who's gone there, can't quite see. Looks like one of the talent team machines as well with him.
Who's down there with him, I think it is, Eamon Adaki, who took a career best qualifying yesterday. Unfortunately, he's not been able to convert that. I only saw it in the background, so can't apportion play for the moment, but Adaki and Sal Mellor both down.
Don't forget, they'll get another stab at it later on as well. So it's not all done for JuniorGP just yet. Another race coming up in a short while. But out front, Carpe, it is who leads. The number 51 of Uriarte as well. This is down through turn 5, turn 6. Marcus Uriarte is there, so the Uriartes might want to work together to try and make a lunge on Alvaro Carpe if they can. Talking of making a lunge, that's through on the inside for Cruces. And I think that was on Guido Pini. Yes, we can. We're battling the sunlight just as much as they are out there. I must admit, we got a lot of sunlight coming in to the commentary box. It's very pleasant, apart from when you're trying to be a commentator.
Yeah, it's difficult to ID the riders in the best of times, particularly when you've got 2 Uriartes both at the front of the field as we do at the moment. That was Marcos having a look at the inside of Carpe, who's taken victories in different ways this season. Of course, a couple of his wins have been last corner, last lap battles. Then, of course, he left the field from the front in his most recent victory in Aragon. As we take a look at the 56 of Adaki, we're hoping to have a look at what happened to him. This is not a replay you're looking at. This is Adaki now having remounted in this race. And we now pick up the leaders once again. And the leading group now all the way back to Rosenthaler in 10th. They're now well clear of RB Aditama, who leads that chase group.
Yes, Jakob Rosenthaler. Thank you very much, Matt Dunn, for the pronunciation lesson on that one a moment ago. So Jakob Rosenthaler there, the number 78. He's just hovering around the top 10 as it stands. Back at the front, it is Uriarte of the Brian variety, ahead of Marcus, his brother, then Carpe. Then in 4th place, keep an eye on Buchanan. He's going to be trying to look and deliver New Zealand's first win in the class if he can. We've got 9 laps to go. This is Eamon Adaki again. If we needed confirmation that he was absolutely all right, here it is. But this is what happened to him. Keep an eye in the back of shot.
Trying to say,
oh, maybe not.
Well, it's in the middle of the shot, and he does indeed tag the back there of Sal Mellor. Certainly, if there was one rider you could say there had very little blame on his shoulders, it was the young Finn who went down straight away, looking around, turning around with his hands out, saying, what on earth happened there?
Such a shame for Sal Mellor. previously a podium finisher in ETC at this class. So Sal Mella, he'll be looking to try and bounce back later on for the final hurrah in Junior GP. But we're keeping an eye on this lead battle. It's oh no, that's Cruz says, and he tagged the back, I think, of Pini. So Adrian Cruz says he was leading just a few laps ago. He isn't leading anymore. He's collecting sand in the gravel. Disaster for the number 11. It was all on his own doing though, just pushing out a little bit too hard. And I was just about to say it had calmed down a bit. Good job I didn't say it because it made me look a bigger idiot than I already sound. This is turn 7.
Yeah, you can see him there. He just checks up there, up behind Pini. Can't really portion blame to anyone but himself, I guess, for that one as they drop through turn number 8. And yeah, that's another boost, I guess, for Rios. Of course, we're not going to news yet about any sort of penalty for Jesus Rios, but of course, that battle for second in the championship. Quiles is out. Cruz says he was 4th in the championship, is also out, and Rios is the only one of that trio still running, although he came across the line in 9th place. I mean, made that early progress. Looks as if Rios is struggling a little bit now to keep up with this group. It's
that old adage, the further up the grid you get when you're coming from behind, the harder it gets, because the riders that are fast and difficult are right at the front. But Rios has put himself in a position. That's what we were saying right at the top of the show, Lewis. You can put yourself in any position you want, but sometimes it doesn't have to be your accident that can cost you points, and that will be something that Alvaro Carpe, even though we didn't see Cruz's fall, will be something he's very, very aware of anyway. Just outshot, Facundo Yambias has set the fastest lap of the race, but that's down in 13th place. Get the impression it's a slow bicycle race at the front?
Yeah, and I think the Estoril Galicia squad will be saying, hey, if you've got that sort of pace for Condor, why haven't we seen it a little bit earlier in the race? He's in that group just at the top of the picture, as once again, Brian Oriarte really does fancy that sort of wider sweeping line as they drop downhill into 7. This now is turn 8. He does leave the door wide open through there, but at the moment, no one's been able to ride through it, as now Marcus Oriarte comes through, but Carpe is having none of that as he holds the inside line on the second part of that switchback hairpin.
Yeah, brave that from Carpe. Doesn't need to be toughing it out, but he wants to. He wants to win this title in some style. There's a 17-year-old from Murcia on the south coast of Spain, so keep an eye on him. He's going to be trying to lift that crown if he very much can, but at the moment, Brian Uriarte's going to lead another lap. It's Uriarte, Carpe, other Marcos Uriarte, Buchanan, Pini, then it's O'Gorman, Boggio, Rosenthaler, Rios, and Pavelek is up inside the top 10 as well, but he's not quite in this lead group. That lead group ends with Rios in 9th as the 2 teammates at the front. Just a bit of friendly fire. Let's see if it's that friendly in 6 laps time on the last lap.
Once again, Brian Oriarte fancies those wider sweeping lines at the end of the straights, and he does leave the door wide open. Pini at the moment there as they braked into turn 1 thought, hey, it's wide open for me, I'm going to take the lead, but it was closed in on him again. That was Carpe once again looking over his shoulder. Worth pointing out for Carpe, given the incidents we've already seen in this race and his main rivals out of play, of course, Jesus Rios needs to be up in the top 2. He needs to win this race, ideally, to keep this championship alive. So even though Carpe at the moment isn't towards the front of this group, he's still absolutely fine.
He is, but he needs to be careful, because I think once we get past 2/3 race distance, of course, we will start to see the elbows flying, and we're going to be coming up to that very, very soon. In fact, the next lap around, by the time we completed that, that will be your 2/3. And Rios, I think that was moving through. So now he's right in and amongst it. He's just behind Rosenthaler, and then he's just got to clear the Austrian, and then he's up with Carpe. Oh, Rosenthaler having a look at Carpe. Of course, Rosenthaler looking for that first rostrum since here last year.
Gorman looked like he was making moves there too into the hairpin of turn number 9. Just as we said that Rios was potentially struggling to stay with this group, he got back into the 43s once again on that last lap. A 1:43.792, faster than everybody in front and behind him in that group on that last lap. So Rios getting a bit of a second wind as we head into the second half of this race.
It's a big racing snake down the main straight. 18-wheeler at the front, the top 9. It is covered by more or less a second, and probably more on the left side, to be honest. Buchanan outbraking Uriarte? I don't think so. Not into turn 1, he isn't. Uriarte so strong on the brakes. Talking about Brian, of course. Marcus Uriarte has just dropped back a few positions now at the moment. So keep an eye on Uriarte trying to come back through. He's back in 8th place, just in front of the number 47, Dodo Boggio.
Trying to keep an eye on Yambias to see if he's potentially going to get in touch with this group. He's still lapping in the 43s. He needs the pace to slow up a little bit more in this group. 44.0 for the leader, Uriarte. 43.8 for Yambias, so he's 3 seconds off the lead. If this group do start to carve each other up once again, it might well bring him into play. There he is, just at the top of the picture.
He is. He's just got ahead of the number 5 of Leo Ramersdorfer. Oh, at the front, Buchanan tried going the long way, paid the big price for that, and coming back through on the inside. Looks like the 96 to me, and it is. It's Pini, so your 2022 ETC Cup winner has hit the front ahead of his teammate, the 51 of Urati, long-time race leader. And who's that moving into third? Was it Carpe?
Rosenthaler.
It was Rosenthaler. Oh, hello. So Rosenthaler looking very, very strong indeed. We said he wanted that first podium. He might be looking a little bit more than that as it stands. Just been pushed back though by Cormac Buchanan.
He was on the podium here last year, of course, in the rather different conditions that we have today in Estoril, but this will be by far and away his best dry result in the Junior GP World Championship. He's now 4th bike along as Brian Oriarte goes out a little bit wide. He loses 2nd place, but that might actually serve him quite well when he gets onto the home straight with a bit of a slipstream. But on this lap, you can see Pini with the drama behind, mainly into turn 6.
Carpe! Carpe's gone down. Sorry to come in on you, Lewis. Carpe has gone down, and who's going?
With O'Gorman, isn't it?
It's O'Gorman. Oh dear me! Handbags at dawn. Wow, we have got a big plot twist here, because I tell you what, if Jesus Rios has seen that, and he may well have seen it, wow, we'll be looking now and pushing on more than ever for a victory. Alvaro Carpe. Was he pushed or did he jump? Well, we'll find out very soon. But Jesus Rios, well, we said he'll be pushing on. He's already up into 4th. He's past Rosenthaler. So Carpe now needs his teammate more than ever before to try and get some points. Oh, dear me. No talking there.
No, certainly no pleasantries either exchanged between the two when we saw them walking out of the gravel chat. What this means, Carpe could still win the championship in this race, by the way, even though he's now walking home, because if Jesus Rios does not finish in the top 2, Carpe will be crowned champion while he's sat on his backside in the team box once he gets back there. Don't hate yourself on the way back to the pit lane, Alvaro. Of course, a crash involving O'Gorman. That's a blow for Carpe, but he might still win the championship in the next 10 minutes.
Here we go. Well, we're not going to see too much of this, apart from Alvaro Carpe's anger. I don't think Mercian and Irish relations have done a load of good there.
I'm no body language expert, but looking at the two there, it suddenly appeared as if O'Gorman was blaming Carpe there. Carpe with a bit of a dismissive wave of the hands to say, I'm not interested in any conversations now. I've just crashed out of a race, which could end with me as champion. Rios now is into 2nd place, up behind Pini. And as we mentioned, if Rios finishes there, the championship will go down to the final race this afternoon.
Well, can you script anything a little bit more dramatic? Jesus Rios, he hasn't had any form. He couldn't buy form if it was on offer, even with a Black Friday discount of recent weeks. And now he's staring down the barrel at taking the championship to the last race of the year. We did not see this one coming, and he didn't from 32nd on the grid. He needed binoculars to see the braking area for turn 1, but he's done it nonetheless. The number 54 of Jesus Rios, he has been a king of comebacks before. I remember, I think it was...
He's leading now.
He's leading, he's going to lead it. Jesus Rios is doing what he can, and he has hit the front from 32nd on the grid. I do not remember, if ever, there has been a comeback quite like that. I was just about to say, he has been something of a comeback specialist in recent years, particularly in ETC. I think it was here 2 years ago. He came from 20th on the grid. He managed to come through for 7th. I'm not sure if it was here or somewhere else, but he's definitely one of those riders you always keep an eye on. He's not leading at the moment. Whoa, siding through. The 14 of Cormac Buchanan, he's still looking for a first career win. There's a lot of riders, but a lot of reasons to be pushing on.
Cormac Buchanan could get himself up into the top 3 in the championship with what's happened elsewhere, as we now see the 78 of Rosenthaler coming back through as he takes 2 into 1 as we drop down into turn 7. So that relegates Rios back to 3rd. Now straight tried away, trying to take 2nd place once again, but the front chopped away. He's now going around the outside through 9 and 10. Beautiful move from Rios, who knows he's got everything to fight for here in these final 3.5 laps.
The thing is that it's slightly changed now, though, Lewis, because the 54 of Jesus Rios, before he could throw caution to the wind, but he can't do that anymore because he's got the opportunity in his hands. He can actually now do what he can to take this championship battle down to the final race of the year, and what a spectacle that would be. We didn't expect it. Jakob Rosenthaler is going to come across the line and lead. So the 78, he, like a yo-yo in this race, and he's like a yo-yo in the braking area turn 1. He was leading. Oh, Uriarte, that is not getting stopped. That's a one-way ticket to the escape route. So the 51, that's dropped him right back behind Leo Ramersdorfer. So Ramersdorfer has come through. Now, what a Junior GP race this we're having. This is down into turn 1. Hold your breath.
Yeah, watch the 51, who very nearly ran straight into the back of Cormac Buchanan there. That's relegated Brian Rios, by the way, back down to 9th place. The incident involving O'Gorman and Carpe is going to be reviewed after the race. So there's 2 points to be made here. If Rios can keep the championship alive, of course, it puts more pressure on Carpe. Carpe might yet get a penalty going into the final race of the day if the stewards decide that he was at fault for that incident with O'Gorman.
Oh, I hope it's not a track limits infringement for taking a shortcut trying to get out of the gravel trap. That would be very unfortunate. Of course, we joke we can because they're both up and all right, it seemed so at first. But Alvaro Carpe had that big high side yesterday, don't forget, coming out the last corner.
Rios again.
Rios coming through, that's for 2nd place. Good stuff from the 54, but Carpe had that crash yesterday. He's had a crash here today. Whose fault it was, we'll find out soon, I'm sure. But Carpe not quite gelling with Estoril, it seems, and the pressure's really on. We said anything can happen, and normally it does, and it has. So 3 laps to go, well, just under really, 2 1/4. They're coming through turn 11, then they'll flick it through 12, and then it's the Ayrton Senna Parabolica. What a way to end this lap here at Estoril. What a race we have got going on here. At the moment, Guido Pini, well, a couple of laps ago, he had a big lead coming onto the front straight. He hasn't got it anymore, that is for certain, because Cormac Buchanan is trying to come through as well on the number 14 AG Arcade. Whoa, dear me, watch your pit boards as well. That was Marcus Uriarte coming through. 47 Dodo Boggio. Everywhere you look, it's like winning the lottery. Just try and pick any number, it'll all do.
I'll tell you the problem Rios is going to have here in this final lap especially. We're on the penultimate lap now. I've watched him for a couple of laps now. He gets a very poor run out of that final corner. He's so good on the brakes. Watch him here on the 54, just fit biking your picture, trying to come back through. He generally makes up places on the brakes, but out of that final corner, he gets swallowed up before the line. If that happens on the last lap, then Alvaro Carpe might be celebrating the title in his pit box.
Yeah, I don't know if they got a celebration plan. Maybe if they got a plan B, maybe they had turn 6 is the celebration corner here at Estoril, but I don't think Carpe's going to be there to attend it. This is back at the front, Guido Pini. Look at Dodo Boggio. He hasn't had a podium all year. He's staring down the barrel at maybe even his first win. He's up there in 3rd place, the 47. So keep an eye on Boggio. ETC race winner from Jerez a couple of years ago. Remember that? That was when his first race happened. Marcus Uriarte coming through and defending position. That's for B2 at turn 7.
Rios lost another one there. He's now back into 6th place. So these are crucial moments now. He needs to try and get himself the best possible position. Coming onto the home straight, he's going to have a massive slipstream, if nothing else, on the run down to turn 1 for the final time. But is Rios slightly too far back now to keep this title alive?
Well, if this was the checkered flag lap, you'd have to say yes, but maybe the slipstream is just going to come into effect here and put him in a better position that he can build on for the next lap. But this is all ifs, buts and maybes. Here we go. Yeah, lots of confusion, lots of discussion.
Watching and hoping.
I think more hope than watching, that's for sure. They'll be closing their eyes. I won't want to look at this. Guido Pini then, this is your last lap of race 1, Junior GP. Here at the last round at Estoril. On your extreme inside, it's a 55. Wow. Rios, surely not. He was fourth across the line. He led briefly, back to 2nd he goes. 2nd's good enough, of course, to keep the title race alive. Guido Pini leads again through turn 3. Nobody holds position.
Yeah, the 47 there of Boggio runs 3rd as we now will look again at the very nervous. Look, he can barely keep himself still there, Alvaro Carpe. Rios sits 2nd. If he stays there or gains a place, the title goes on to race 2 this afternoon. If he drops a place from there, Alvaro Carpe will be your champion in a lap's time.
Through the flat-out kink of turn 5, Guido Pini's doing what he can at the moment, and he's leading this race very, very well indeed. Marcus Uriarte pounces on the 47 of Boggio. Buchanan is pushed out wide as well. That's by Brian Uriarte, who's fighting his way through. And that was the 78 of Rosenthaler as well. So Buchanan's going backwards, but all eyes on the front. Can Rios cause a big upset here? He's done the hard work, but the hardest work is still to come. Up to the chicane for the last time.
What does Rios do from here? He's just got to try and hold on to 2nd place. I don't think you want to lead if you're Jesus Rios. Onto the home straight for the final time. He needs someone to tow him down this main straight. Where he is now is enough, but if one rider passes him in the final 2 corners, it's all over.
This is it then, the Ayrton Senna Parabolica for the final time, and building and building and
Not
building.
Around the outside,
Sean,
surely.
he's going to go the long way. He doesn't need to be pushed out there.
Oh,
Watch
that's going to
for the
cost
green.
him. That's going to cost him.
That's cost him. Oh, massive contact. It looks like Guido Pini's going to win it, and by default, it is going to be champion to Alvaro Carpe, who's never celebrated being in the box early in a race. that much in his entire racing career. A little bit of strategy problem perhaps there from Jesus Rios, who tried his hardest.
Finished seventh.
Alvaro Carpe is your new 2024 FIM Junior GP World Champion in the most remarkable of circumstances.
Well, that was chaotic, almost too chaotic out of the final corner on that final lap, but certainly the Leglise team and Alvaro Carpe won't care a jot by that. Pini, your winner from Buchanan, and Marcos Uriarte, the 89, takes third place. Jesus Rios, out of all of that, tried to go around the outside into the final corner, but it didn't work out for him. He finishes seventh. You feel really, from everything he put into that race, he deserved a little bit more than that. But out of all of it, not the way he wanted to win the championship, but Alvaro Carpe is your Junior GP World Champion.
Great stuff from Guido Pini, I've got to say, just timed to perfection. Maybe that can be the hashtag, pulled the Pini on the last lap. I'll see myself out. Cormac Buchanan, another podium, he can't try much harder. That is for certain. Second place there, and third place for Marcos Uriarte. I'll tell you what, Guido Pini's interview might be interesting, but Alvaro Carpe, if we get the chance to speak to him, your new world champion.
Good race in the end for Buchanan, not just for the race, but for the championship as well. He goes up ahead of Quiles now and Cruces in the championship. Pini now will move all the way up into second place in the championship ahead of the final race later on.
As you can see, the team absolutely celebrating. Of course, it was their Moto2 rider last year for Enesadius who took the title then. It's in the Junior GP this year. Carpe moves on, of course, at the end of this season. There will not be a dry eye for him. This is the biggest achievement of his young and very, very prosperous racing career. But let's not take anything away from Guido Pini. Another championship finish here by less than a tenth of a second. Unbelievable. And a tenth of a second, I'll tell you something, covers the top four. Fantastic. Guido Pini, even the marshals are celebrating with him, I think. So great stuff down there. I'm not quite sure what that is in Adolf, but the number 96. Very, very good ride indeed from the Italian from Borgo San Lorenzo, just outside of Mugello. But Alvaro Carpe, well, he's still under investigation. He won't care a bit about that right now. As you can see, everyone in there, he's going to have to, he's just being told now he's got to go and do his interviews. So Alvaro Carpe, fantastic stuff from the number 83. Don't forget, he was an ETC race winner. He was very, very unlucky not to get it all done and dusted earlier, but here's some of his highlights this year. A season full of highs and lows. Maybe this was one of both. Moment, maybe the crash. The highest moment, the crash, and not having to complete the race, but still getting a title. Just about Jesus Rios, got to talk about him there. He was building and building right the way through the last corner, but unfortunately that last corner is so long. It can only really go one way, and for Jesus Rios, he was on the wrong side of Pini. That was a little bit of contact. He had to be careful then to not go on the green because he'd lose more places, and it just cost him that run all the way down the straight. Just outside of the podium, we said about Marcos Uriarte. Brian Uriarte was fourth. Jakob Rosenthaler, good stuff from the Austrian rider from Linz there, up in fifth place. So the 18-year-old, another top five for him. That's his seventh top 10 of the year. But this is down in towards turn one. Just look at the craziness of Jesus Rios. Well, he threw the kitchen sink. I think he threw the whole house through its own front door. And in the end, Rios just coming up a little bit short. But anyway, this is the moment. Just keep an eye. He's got so much more mid-corner speed. He's got no other choice. He's got to go around the outside of Pini. A little run. That's all. And he's had to close the gas. He's going to go on the green. Boggio comes in. Uriarte deals with that. Cormac Buchanan charging through. And I think if the line had been a few meters more, Buchanan might be looking at giving New Zealand the first win. But instead, it's Guido Pini. It's his third of the season. That top four run from the middle of the year continuing. So fantastic stuff. And more on Alvaro Carpe, of course, that career first pole. We said he'd already wrapped up the Red Bull Rookie's crown. He also wraps up Junior GP. Rather phenomenal talent, and it's only just beginning, some might think. So Alvaro Carpe, there he is with the gold crash helmet. That's rather obligatory. At least him crashing out saved the team the work of changing all the fairings, and it saved us a load of a long, elaborate celebration at turn 6. But he is the FIM Junior GP World Champion. Husqvarna, the winning manufacturer, of course. Pini, and again, one of those talents here for the future. The incident involving Queso Gorman, who was the other rider who crashed with Alvaro Carpe, he is, that incident is still under investigation, so we'll wait to hear more on that. But the champion is in Parc Ferme. His bike obviously is not, and they are going to celebrate in style here. The Leglise team have done it again. Fantastic stuff from them. It's another title. It's their 29th overall. But we're going to hear from your race winner. Guido Pini is down there with Lewis, who sprinted down from comms.
Guido Pini, congratulations. What an incredible finish to that race, but you got the job done in the end. Talk us through it.
I think it's one of my difficult races of my life. The group was really big and was really difficult with the tire management. But during all the week, me and my team, we did together an amazing job, and I have to say thanks to them. And this is for all the team.
And also some words in Italian for us.
Una gara molto difficile, lunga, ma abbiamo dato il massimo, però adesso c'è gara 2, dobbiamo concentrarci per fare bene anche lì. Voglio ringraziare la squadra che ha fatto un lavoro immenso e tutte le persone che mi supportano. E volevo fare i complimenti anche a Alvaro che ha vinto il campionato. Dai!
Very eloquent there from Guido Pini. Another race win on his tally for the season. Great stuff from the number 96. I have just been corrected by the fantastic Ricardo Torrents, who is our social media producer for Junior GP. I may have said that the Uriartes are brothers. They are not, they are cousins. So for the most recent time, absolutely not the first time, I am wrong. So it's what we have for that Uriarte clear-up. But this is your champion, Alvaro Carpe. Fantastic.
Alvaro Carpe, I guess not the way you wanted to win it, but you are the Junior GP World Champion. Tell us how you're feeling.
Well, I'm very happy for this moment because I was waiting this moment during all the weekend and this race. I don't know what to say now because I'm celebrating now. I don't know how I'm feeling now. Then I only have to say thanks to all my team. They all even know my mechanics. During all the season, during all these 2 years, I'm with them. Then I don't know, say thanks to all of them, to all, Pedrito, Kiko, Fernando, Sergi, Jose. For sure I will forget someone. It's too many, more than 25 mechanics here in this amazing team. I don't know, tell more amazing team. My second this year because I'm champion of Red Bull Rookies Cup, and I'm the third in all the history. I do both championship winnings. Then I'm very happy for this moment. All my team, you listen, and I don't know what to say more. Also, from all my family are seeing me in his houses. Then I don't know, all my friends, all my family, my father's, and also my brother is here. I'm very happy.
And also some words in Spanish for us.
Sí, que digo que bueno, me han tirado, no puedo terminar la carrera, pero aún así he sido campeón. Y que quiero darle las gracias a todos mis mecánicos, todos individualmente, a todos, porque son un montón, son más de 25 mecánicos aquí dentro de este box, dentro de este equipo. Un título más para este equipo y bueno, todos los mecánicos dan siempre el 100% de ellos mismos. Lo dan todo, se quedan hasta las 2 de la mañana, si hace falta, hasta las 3, 4, lo que haga falta por el equipo. Y bueno, todo en el cuerpo ahora mismo y no sé qué más decir, solo dar las gracias a todo el equipo, a mi familia y a todos mis amigos que me estén viendo.
Many congratulations.
Thank you.
Great words from Alvaro Carpe. I presume when he thanked Kiko, he wasn't meaning me. Of course, he's on about the... Is how the whole race planned out. Carpe from a career first pole, grabbing the whole shot, but there was big drama behind. Max Quiles out of action and fuming. Further back, there was all kinds of drama. Salmela and Daki. And Adrian Cruces adding to a growing list of riders in the gravel. It really was a race of attrition. This was coming up the inside. Carpe as well. We're getting a bit of a comment through our headset here. I'm not quite sure that was intended. It's very weird having me in the background, and that's just in normal life. This is coming up the inside, the 51 of Uriarte, and that was Pini's chance to shine as well. Then the big talking point, Carpe and O'Gorman not seeing eye to eye at all in the turn 12 gravel trap. That left 54, Jesus Rios, a chance to strike, and he did just that, leading with a handful of laps to go, but maybe he just peaked a bit too early, was soon pinched back. That was Pini, then Buchanan, Rosenthaler looking to try and get in on the act as well. Down in towards turn 1, hard braking Uriarte. It was even harder for him to get it stopped. Across the line, Pini, Buchanan, Rios sweeping across, momentarily leading, not quite able to pull it down, but he was in a prime position. Alvaro Carpe watching on, but this would be the deciding moment in the entire race. Pini just pushing and shoving his way around. That was trying to get ahead of the number 54, Rios pushing out there. And Pini, your race winner. Carpe, your champion. Very deserving one at that. He did it the hard way though. He left it in the lap of the gods, but he got it done nonetheless. Number 83 of Carpe, your new Junior GP World Champion. What a future he has got in this fantastic sport. We're going to get underway with the podium then. This is your race podium for the moment. It is Alvaro Carpe. It's not Alvaro Carpe at all. What am I talking about? That's Marcus Uriarte. I've got Alvaro Carpe on the brain at the minute. In second place is Cormac Buchanan. New Zealand will have to go again to try and get a first win later on. Guido Pini, 3 race wins in 2024. Lewis Sotheby, you may have heard him in the background there, has joined us back in commentary. Great to have the first words of our race winner, but more importantly, our new world champion.
Yeah, what an extraordinary end to the race that was. Jesus Rios did everything he could, coming all the way from the back of the field, and it is going to be exciting later on to see what he can do from the position that he qualified. He will go from the 3rd row later on for race 2. Podium finish for Marcos Uriarte, who was in the podium reckoning throughout that race, led at various stages, but he does match his podiums from earlier on in the season. A couple of podiums already prior to this. This is his 3rd. 2nd place in the end for Cormac Buchanan, his best in the class, but for Guido Pini, well, he led in those closing stages, did all he could, and a 2nd win of the season for him.
Hino de Itália. E agora vamos para a cerimónia do prosseguimento.
Congratulations to Guido Pini. After such a dramatic finale, he enjoys the spoils of victory, but they can't celebrate too hard because, of course, they have a 2nd race to come later on today. Cormac Buchanan, as Kiko mentioned, will have that last chance to take that elusive victory after a career best 2nd for him today. Last on the podium here on our previous visit earlier in the season. And The focus now in the Junior GP World Championship will be on that battle for second place in the championship, and boy have Pini and Buchanan done their hopes a power of good with their exploits in race 1.
They really have, Lewis. It's now a full-on battle for second place in this championship. That there is no doubt, because your champion's already been decided. We've got ETC coming up in just a moment. That title has already been wrapped up, but we should get second place decided there. Well, we will get second place decided there, but it should really go the way we're all expecting it. This, of course, is the podium for the race. We'll be getting all your big championship podiums and award ceremonies very, very much later on. As you can see, the organisers just getting the guys off of the podium, because I think we're going to get Alvaro Carpe very, very soon indeed, of course, for the champions podium. But a fitting champion, Lewis. He's had plenty of success right the way through the year, but he did leave it in the lap of the racing gods there in the final few laps.
Yeah, as mentioned to him in the interview, not the way he would have wanted to win the championship, but I don't think now that it's all wrapped up and he's got the red champion's vest over his leathers that he cares one jot how you win it. It's if you win it. And his run of form from Barcelona to now really has put him in this position. 6 consecutive podiums, actually, including those 3 victories. Put him in that position where the others needed snookers here at this final round of the season. Rios had to really push the boat out on that final lap, even having come from 32nd on the grid. Carpe, having had that incident with Casey O'Gorman, which we still haven't really seen a great angle of to really judge what happened in that one. Had to watch and wait for the final laps and hope for some good news, and he got the very best news in that final corner.
Yeah, and I think if it had gone to the last race, would Carpe have still lost out anyway? I'm not so sure, because Carpe has looked very cool, calm and collected right the way through this season and is a very deserving champion, but it would have been a good talking point for us, that is for certain. As you can see, numero uno is going to be screamed right the way from the top of the podium. Carpe world champion in Junior GP 2024. Is he going to be the next star to break out in the main Moto3 World Championship? Well, you'd have to think so if this performance is anything to go by. Let's have a look at the results in the penultimate race of the year. The top 4, as I said, covered by less than a tenth of a second, but it is Guido Pini who in the end gets the job done. Good to see 2 Austrians up inside the top 9 as well. Good international flair right the way through the top 10. Uruguay's Facundo Yambias there, just half a second away from his and his country's first win.
Said during the race, didn't we, that he was catching that group. In the end, he caught them. He just ran out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff indeed from Yambias. He was one of the subplots that we built up and then didn't follow up because Carpe decided to have an incident all of his own accord. Morosi ahead of Milan Pavelek there in the 10th and 11th. Lennox Pomara the 12th there for Switzerland. Just outside, keep an eye on Jacques Fouettisan, the Thai rider, 18 seconds off. He'll be looking to end the season with points. Britain's Evan Belford up there in 18th place. Lucas Brown as well doing it for the Union Jack representatives there, 22nd. Eamon Adaki did remount, 25th for him. Likewise, Salmela, but Salmela classified but didn't finish, 28th place. Carpe, O'Gorman, Cruces and Quiles, all crashers, and big name crashers as well. Going to get your championship standings very, very soon, and that is that. Alvaro Carpe, your new champion, ahead of Guido Pini at the moment, who has stolen second place. Jesus Rios' mistake in that last corner cost him second at the moment, but we still have another race to go. In total, we have anyone from Pini to Morosi mathematically ready to be runner-up. Brian Uriarte just a little bit further back. Rosenthaler there in 11th place. Eddie O'Shea, of course, no longer in Junior GP, and we wish him all the best. Likewise, Ruche Moodley. They're on the second page. There, Ramersdorfer's attempts to rack up as many points as possible. Done there as well. He's looking good for race 2. Keep an eye on him. Race 1 of 5 on today's billing. Done and dusted, and we get a new champion along the way. The race win may have gone to Guido Pini, but the title has gone to Alvaro Carpe. even though he may have done it the hard way. European Talent Cup's only race, and their title already decided, of course, up next.